So I'm a part of Youth Demand, which is a coalition of young people who are taking non-violent direct action against the government and the Labour Party with two demands, which is a two-way arms embargo on Israel, so not selling or buying weapons from Israel, and ending new oil and gas licenses and revoking the Tory licenses. We know that politicians are driving genocide, and we know that our political system is utterly broken and is rigged against ordinary people, and so young people have had enough, and we're fighting back. Keir Starmer is the likely next leader of this country, and he's completely letting people down, and in some ways worse than the Tories, because I think he's pretending that he's better than that, and he's trying to sell us these insane contradictions. Like, he's saying that Labour supports, this green transition. They're saying we don't support new oil and gas licenses, but then they're refusing to revoke the Tory licenses. They're rolling back on their green pledges. He's claiming that their party supports a ceasefire, yet he is doing nothing about an arms embargo, and he has failed to properly condemn Israel. I think it's deadly. And what we're saying is there's a new dish on the menu, and that is resistance. And that is why we have to do something a bit outrageous, a bit transgressive, like going to Starmer's house. It was part of 3 days of action. On the first day, people went to Labour headquarters and sprayed red paint over the outside and the inside. And then this was the second day of action, and 3 young people went to Starmer's house, and they sort of calmly, quietly put up a banner on the hedge outside of his house saying "Starmer, stop the killing," and they laid out children's shoes and the pathway up to his doorway to represent the lives of all the innocent children that have been killed in Gaza and that have been and will be killed by climate breakdown. And then they just sat down outside of his house, and it was followed the next day by, again, more brave people in collaboration with Palestine Action, spraying paint on the Ministry of Defence because of their complicity in the genocide, and their open contracts with Elbit Systems, which we know is one of the biggest Israeli weapons manufacturers. The public are against the genocide that's happening in Gaza. That's not going to change anything, because their policies ultimately aren't shaped by what it is people want. They're not shaped by what it is people need. When they're licensing new oil and gas, knowing this is going to kill people, they clearly don't care what it is the public think. Peaceful, non-destructive protests, they're just so easy for politicians to ignore. And that's what they want. They want to be able to ignore us. We need a decision-making process and policies that put what it is that ordinary people need as front and centre in decision-making, and that's not how current politics, it's not how parliamentary politics works right now.